The Indiana Fever also made an announcement today. It's official. Myisha Hines-Allen, she's on the team. Shoots around 33% from three. She can pass the ball a little bit, 3 assists. Indiana Fever fans on Twitter are crashing out. I'm not doing backflips over this signing either. Let's get right into it, shall we? Like the video, hype the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below and subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's start here. Brianna Turner has signed.
The Indiana Fever have made a move that has sent shockwaves across the WNBA. If you have spent any time on social media today, you have probably noticed the strong reactions. Fans are trying to process what just happened, analysts are carefully working through the salary cap implications, and the rest of the league is watching closely as the Fever continue shaping what looks like a very deliberate path toward contention. The news is now official, and it comes with mixed emotions. The Indiana Fever have decided to part ways with veteran forward and respected defensive presence Brianna Turner. Her departure marks the end of a meaningful chapter, yet almost immediately, before fans had the chance to fully take it in, the organization introduced her replacement. The Fever have signed veteran forward, WNBA champion, and experienced presence, Myisha Hines-Allen. This is not simply a routine roster adjustment or a minor financial decision. It reflects a thoughtful and strategic shift, one that subtly changes the identity and direction of the team. While many are understandably focused on losing Turner, there is also a larger perspective to consider regarding what Hines-Allen brings, especially in relation to Caitlin Clark and the team's long-term vision. Welcome back, everyone. If all of these off-season moves feel overwhelming, take a moment, settle in, and let's walk through what this decision really means and why it has become one of the most talked about transactions of the year. To fully understand the reaction from Indiana Fever fans, it is important to first recognize the value of Brianna Turner. Her departure is not easy to accept, particularly for those who appreciate the disciplined and often overlooked aspects of the game. Turner has never been just another role player. She has consistently been one of the more intelligent and reliable defensive anchors in the league. Over the years, she established herself as a key defensive presence with the Phoenix Mercury.
Yeah, come on in the WNBA, Brianna Turner. Ooh, what are you doing? I'm glad I don't need to even root for a team that you're on anymore. Folks, if you guys were hiding, if you're taking cover, you can come out now. You can come out now. Brianna Turner is gone. It's safe to celebrate. The Indiana Fever also made an announcement today. It's official. Myisha Hines-Allen, she's on the team.
By every account, Brianna Turner carried herself as a true professional. She was a dependable teammate, a steady and respected voice in the locker room, and someone who embraced her role without concern for touches or minutes. Players like that tend to earn deep respect, especially because they handle the demanding, often unnoticed responsibilities of the game without asking for recognition. It is no surprise, then, that many Fever fans are struggling with this decision. For them, it feels like the organization has moved on from someone who represented effort, consistency, and loyalty. There is a sense that a piece of the team's identity has been lost, particularly when a player known for doing the difficult, uncelebrated work is no longer part of the group. At the same time, professional sports operate within a very different framework. The WNBA, like any major league, is built on competition and results. Decisions are rarely based on sentiment alone. Instead, they are shaped by performance, fit, and the long-term direction of the team. General manager Amber Cox and head coach Stephanie White are focused on building a roster that best supports the team's goals, particularly around maximizing the unique skill set of Caitlin Clark. When viewed strictly from a basketball perspective, the challenge with Turner becomes more apparent. She brings elite defensive ability, but her offensive profile is limited in terms of spacing. She primarily operates near the basket and does not extend her range to mid-range or three-point shooting. While that skill set has value, the modern game places increasing importance on spacing and versatility. When Turner shares the floor with Aliyah Boston, the team can run into structural issues on offense. Both players are most effective inside, which allows opposing defenses to stay compact. Rather than needing complex strategies, defenders can focus on protecting the paint, reducing driving lanes, and making it more difficult for perimeter.
Over 15 years of organized basketball, I've played with and against people who are transgender and undoubtedly people with intersex variations, and I've never experienced any unfair advantages. This is Brianna Turner. Wants men and women's sports. I don't want that on my team. I don't want it on my team. Get out of here, Bree Turner. Do you know who will miss you, Bree? You know who will miss you? Stephanie White. Oh, you brought Stephanie White to tears last year. Crocodile tears, but tears nonetheless. Oh my God.
The front office came to a difficult conclusion. Playing Brianna Turner alongside Aaliyah Boston was not an ideal fit, and limiting Turner to a backup role did not provide enough offensive impact to justify a valuable roster spot in a tightly managed, salary-capped league. It led to a tough and unpopular decision, moving on from an elite defender because her offensive limitations were making it harder for Caitlin Clark to fully operate with space and freedom. This is where the addition of Myisha Hines-Allen begins to make more sense. While many fans are focused on the loss of Turner, opposing teams are likely paying close attention to what Hines-Allen brings. She offers a different kind of presence in the front court, one built on strength, versatility, and adaptability. At 6 feet 2 inches, Hines-Allen plays with a physical edge and brings a more forceful style compared to Turner. She has championship experience with the Washington Mystics and understands the intensity and demands of high-level competition. Her ability to compete in physical, playoff-style basketball adds another layer to the team's identity. However, the most significant difference comes on the offensive end. Hines-Allen provides spacing. As a career three-point shooter with solid efficiency, she forces defenses to adjust in ways that were not necessary before. That single element changes how the floor is structured for Indiana. With Boston positioned inside, drawing attention in the paint, Hines-Allen can move out to the perimeter rather than occupying the same interior space. This creates a difficult choice for defenders. If they stay inside to protect the rim or contain Clark's drives, they risk leaving Hines-Allen open for a perimeter shot. If they step out to guard her, the lane opens up, giving Clark clearer paths to attack, create, or distribute. This shift brings a noticeable balance to the offense. The floor feels more open, the movement becomes smoother, and the options expand. It allows Clark to play.
She saw her job flash before her very eyes. She did.
Put us on your back. Oh, big time. Breezy.
Breezy. Breezy. Brianna Turner's defensive play brought Stephanie White to tears. Brianna Turner, Stephanie White will miss you. She'll miss you. She's probably crying in the car right now. She's probably crying in the car right now. Let's move on.
This move adds a new layer to the Indiana Fever's offensive potential. It allows them to put bigger, more physical lineups on the floor against teams like the Las Vegas Aces or the New York Liberty, while still maintaining the kind of spacing that helps Caitlin Clark operate at her best. That balance between size and spacing is what makes this adjustment so impactful. The strong reaction from fans largely comes from an emotional connection to what the team has been. But decisions like this are often made with a clear focus on what the team can become. General Manager Amber Cox appears to be thinking ahead, recognizing that the opportunity to compete at a high level is not something to delay. It is something to act on immediately, and doing that often means addressing even the smallest weaknesses, regardless of how difficult those decisions may feel. At the same time, this shift is not only about offensive structure, it also reflects a desire to bring more physical presence and resilience to the roster. Over the course of last season, it became clear that opposing teams were not hesitant to play aggressively against Clark. She faced consistent pressure, hard contests, and a level of physical play that tested both her composure and durability. In many ways, the Fever were still developing the experience and edge needed to respond to that style of play. With a younger core, there were moments where they lacked the physical strength or veteran presence to push back effectively. Bringing in Myisha Hines-Allen helps address that. She adds toughness, experience, and a willingness to compete in more physical situations. Rather than changing the identity of the team entirely, it strengthens it, giving Indiana a more balanced mix of skill, spacing, and resilience. Ultimately, this move reflects a broader strategy. It is about creating an environment where players like Clark can perform freely, while also ensuring the team can handle the physical demands of the league.
Huh? It's over! Shoot, man. It's over. Look at that. Opposing players laughing at us. Opposing teams laughing at us. Oh, shoot. Amber Cox, you BAN, I hope you lose your job. Damn. I'm so scared. Shoot, man. Shoot. Fire everyone in the front office now. Signing negative players before the draft.
Brianna Turner brought elite defense and intelligence to the floor, but her style was built more on positioning, timing, and discipline than physical confrontation. She impacted the game through awareness and structure rather than direct, forceful presence. That approach has clear value, but it represents a different kind of contribution. In contrast, Myisha Hines-Allen plays with a noticeably more physical edge. She competes with strength, intensity, and a willingness to engage in the tougher aspects of the game. Her screens are firm, her rebounding presence is assertive, and she brings a level of energy that can shift momentum in more physical matchups. When you pair that with Sophie Cunningham on the perimeter, the overall tone of the team begins to change. Cunningham has already built a reputation for playing with emotion and standing up for her teammates in key moments. Together, they add a layer of toughness and competitiveness that can influence how opponents approach the game. This does not mean the team is shifting away from skill or strategy. Instead, it is about balance. The Fever are building a roster that can not only execute offensively but also handle the physical demands that come with facing top competition. For a player like Caitlin Clark, that balance matters. Throughout her early career, Clark has faced intense defensive pressure and physical play. That is part of competing at the highest level. What this roster adjustment does is provide more support, players who can match that intensity, compete for space, and help maintain control of the game's physical tone. In the end, this decision reflects a broader understanding. Success is not only about schemes, spacing, or shooting. It is also about durability, presence, and the ability to compete through contact over the course of an entire game. By adding players who bring that dimension, the Fever are working to create a more complete and resilient team around their core. The perception of the Indiana Fever as a purely skilled, finesse-oriented team is starting to shift. What we are seeing now is a more balanced identity, one that combines skill with strength, and execution with resilience. The addition of more physical, experienced players signals a move toward a team that can handle both the technical and physical demands of the league. For Caitlin Clark, that kind of support can make a real difference. When a primary ball handler feels backed by teammates who can match intensity and absorb physical play, it often allows them to perform with greater confidence. That freedom can translate into more assertive drives, cleaner shot creation, and a more natural offensive rhythm. Of course, reactions from fans are always part of the process. Some will focus on continuity and loyalty, while others will look at how the roster is evolving. But as the postseason approaches, the style of play naturally becomes more demanding. Games slow down, possessions become more contested, and physicality increases. Teams that can adapt to that environment tend to have an advantage. Looking at the current structure of the roster, there is a clear sense of intentional design. At point guard, you have Caitlin Clark leading the offense and setting the pace. At shooting guard, Kelsey Mitchell provides scoring ability and reliability in key moments. On the wing, Sophie Cunningham brings energy, competitiveness, and defensive presence. In the front court, Monique Billings adds athleticism and versatility, while Aliyah Boston anchors the interior with strength and consistency. The depth of the bench also reflects this balanced approach. Myisha Hines-Allen contributes experience, spacing, and physicality. Lexi Hull offers perimeter defense and effort. Tyasha Harris provides stability and playmaking in the backcourt, while Iris Dantas brings additional floor spacing from the front court. Altogether, this roster reflects a thoughtful combination of skill set. There is also an eye on future development within the roster. Michaela Timpson continues to grow her game behind the scenes, and the Fever still hold the number 10 overall pick in the upcoming WNBA draft, giving them another opportunity to add young talent. When you step back and look at the full picture, this roster reflects careful planning and clear intent. The front office identified a spacing concern, made the difficult decision to move on from Brianna Turner, and brought in Myisha Hines-Allen, a player whose skill set aligns more naturally with the team's offensive structure, while also adding strength and versatility. At the center of it all is Caitlin Clark, whose playmaking ability shapes the identity of the team. The adjustments being made are clearly designed to create more space, more balance, and more support around her, both offensively and physically. Across the league, teams will certainly take notice of how Indiana is evolving. The Fever are no longer just a developing group, they are positioning themselves to compete more seriously, with a roster that blends skill, depth, and adaptability. That is all for today's breakdown. If this perspective helped clarify the reasoning behind the move and the importance of spacing, feel free to share your thoughts. What do you expect from this lineup going forward? Could this group contend for a championship this season? Stay tuned for more updates, and enjoy the action as the season and draft unfold.